Hey, what's up, guys? Excuse me. So I'm coming to you today with the what's next on Caleb Plant, the undefeated IBF super middleweight champion of the world at 168 pounds. Plant is coming off of on January 30th, he main evented a Fox card where he made a mandatory defense of his title against former champion Caleb Truax, dominated Truax over 12 rounds to a one-sided shutout 12-round unanimous decision. Excuse me. Again, guys, if you like my videos, please hit the like button. If you don't like them, hit the thumbs down. You can subscribe or you can leave a comment. Anything you'd like. If you enjoy it, please try to subscribe. I'm trying to get the information out to as many people as possible. I really enjoy doing this boxing page. It's my passion. It really is. Besides coaching, of course. But, yeah, so let's jump into this one about Caleb Plant. So he fought Truax. I really wasn't surprised by the fact that he dominated Truax, but I did expect the knockout. Now, I heard that Plant supposedly hurt his left hand, 5th, 6th round, he said, something like that. He says it shouldn't derail a possible fight later in the year with possibly Canelo Alvarez. That has been the hot talk, that Canelo wants to become the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world at 168. He holds 2 of the belts right now. He's fighting his mandatory at the end of February, Avni Yildirim. He wins there. He moves on to Billy Joe Saunders most likely in May. And if he wins there, then possibly Caleb Plant in September. So that's the big question, is what's next for Caleb Plant following that win. Like I said, that right there is the big news on Plant of what could be next for him. I don't think, if it's going to be Canelo, I don't believe he's going to fight anybody else in between that, especially if he suffered a hand injury. But Plant isn't a very super active guy anyways. He last fought in February of 2019, so it was close to a year off. I know COVID had something to do with that also, but it was almost a year off. But prior to that, it was, I think, 5-6 months. And then prior to that win, it was, I want to say, 6 months off in between. So this guy doesn't fight on a huge scale anyways, in terms of like coming back every 4 or 5 months. He's a 6 month or less. That's a PBC thing. A lot of the PBC fighters do that. But, yeah, I mean, it's 8 months in between the fight there and what would be a fight with actually it'd be 7.5 months. So, if he fights Mexican Independence Day against Canelo. We'll run through the top 10 and see what other options could be possible if he doesn't get the Canelo fight in September. So, let's, and then I'll discuss what I think he's going to do next. So we start with, obviously we said number 1, Canelo Alvarez. I think that's very real possibility and very, very likely to happen. It would be Mexican Independence Day weekend in September, barring Canelo gets by Avni Yildirim and then Billy Joe Saunders without being injured or anything and can fight come September. But that's the working date, and it looks likely. Number 2, Daniel Jacobs. This fight might be possible next if, obviously the Canelo fight falls to the wayside, but if Daniel Jacobs were to go back to the PBC, because he's been advised by Al Heyman this whole time. That's still his manager, even though he signed with DAZN and his last contract. That contract's up with Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, but there's a lot of people saying he could still fight there. But right now, Jacobs doesn't have a lot of big name options lined up. He wanted the Billy Joe Saunders fight. That's not going to happen. It looks like Billy Joe's fighting Canelo in May. So, Jacobs, if he's going to see the interest here. I think it's possible, but I don't think it's likely that Jacobs and Plant get together next. Number 3 is former champ Callum Smith. No. I mean, if Canelo doesn't happen, I doubt Plant goes after Callum Smith. Smith's style, just his height, his reach, it would be complicated for Plant, and I don't think that's something Plant would want to do. Plus that's PBC working with Matchroom, and I'm not seeing that one not next anyway. I don't think there's a high demand for that fight, so it wouldn't make sense. Number 4 is undefeated, former 2-time champion, David Benavidez. This fight, I think, is not on the table for Plant right now. I think David Benavidez had an opportunity when he was the WBC champion. He lost his title on the scales, and I think that kind of ruined the possibility of this fight. So that fight could still happen at some point. Maybe it's a backup option since they're both PBC guys if Canelo doesn't fight Plant, but I'm not seeing it. Next, Billy Joe Saunders. Well, I mean, if Saunders were to beat Canelo, I'm pretty sure we're going to see, Canelo and Saunders rematch later in the year instead of Saunders and Plant. So, yeah, I don't see Plant fighting Billy Joe Saunders next. Plant was number 6 coming in. So, number 7, Anthony Derrell. This fight would be a real possibility if Canelo doesn't get him, because they're both PBC guys. So, yeah, I could see this fight taking place, possibly if Canelo doesn't end up fighting him. I think he was number 7. Number 8 is Lionel Thompson, the American contender. Another one that could be possible if the fight with Canelo doesn't pop off. So, yeah, because he fights with the PBC. And he beat the same guy that Plant beat, Jose Ustadegi. So, and he's never had a title shot. So that fight, definitely could be possible. Number 9 is John Ryder, the former world title challenger. I'm not seeing it. Ryder's with the Zone and Matchroom. I think he's going to get linked up with somebody along those lines. So I don't see Ryder fighting Plant, even though, I'd like to see it. But if the Canelo fight falls through, I think Plant's probably stay in PBC. And Truax just dropped out of the top 10. I think I'm moving Fedor Shudanov into the top 10. So Truax drops out. But I don't see Plant and Shudanov being possible. I think actually Shudanov's going to fight John Ryder next, with the winner to be the WBA regular champion. So we'll see. But yeah, Caleb Plant. So what do I think he's going to do next? I really think he's going to wait and get the Canelo fight in September. That's what's going to happen. Canelo's got to beat Abney Yildirim, and then he's going to have to beat Billy Joe Saunders in May. But after he supposedly wins those 2 fights, I think Caleb Plant's next. After that, I think Canelo's going to push forward through that fight. That fight likely going to take place on Fox or Showtime pay-per-view. And, that's going to be a big deal for Caleb Plant, and we're going to see if he's ready for it. But he says the fight's close to being agreed upon. We'll see what happens. Canelo's got to do it in the ring, against his other 2 opponents first. But we'll see if Caleb Plant can get the pound-for-pound king in the ring come September. We'll keep you posted. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.